Imagine reaching into your pocket for some loose change, and pulling out a coin that could make you a millionaire overnight. Sounds unbelievable, right? But believe it or not, some rare US coins have sold for millions of dollars at auctions.
Gas station hot dogs. The grind of a 9 to 5 that feels like a prison sentence. That's the reality for most people. The quiet desperation of trading time for dollars, hoping the next paycheck makes the bills disappear. But what if I told you that right now, in that ceramic bowl on your nightstand, or at the bottom of that laundry pile, there is a piece of metal worth more than most people earn in a lifetime? Not a gold bar. Not a rare painting buried in a climate-controlled vault. A quarter. Specifically, the 2003 Illinois state quarter. Forget the 99.9% of Americans who see it for what it is and use it to buy a gumball. They are the sleepwalkers, the spenders. But you are the observer, the collector. And the difference between you and them could be the difference between a life of just getting by and financial freedom. This is the story of the most valuable ghost in the Statehood Quarters series. The coin that launched 1,000 treasure hunts, and the error that could bring you $1.4 million at auction. By the time this video ends, you will never look at your pocket change the same way again. But first, stop the video. Right now. Look at the date. Go ahead, I'll wait. Is it 2003? Is there an outline of Abraham Lincoln on the back? Are there 21 tiny stars circling the rim? If you have a 2003 Illinois quarter in your hand, do not set it down. Do not put it back in that jar. You are holding a lottery ticket that could be worth its weight in platinum, and most people don't even know it exists. So sit back, silence your phone, and get ready to learn why the most unassuming coin in your pocket could be the key to escaping the rat race forever. The wake-up call. But the real question is, why? Why is this coin, with its depiction of a young Abraham Lincoln standing inside the outline of his beloved Illinois, so valuable? The answer lies in the fragile, high-speed ballet of industrial machinery. On the day your coin was minted, perhaps in Philadelphia, bearing the P mint mark, or in Denver with that tiny D, the mint was producing hundreds of thousands of coins per minute. The process was automated, precise, and sterile. But sometimes, very rarely, something goes beautifully wrong. The machine hiccups. A die cracks. A planchet, that's the blank metal disc, is the wrong size. In the numismatic world, we call these minting errors. And the 2003 Illinois quarter is a veritable goldmine of them. While a standard, pristine MS-68 grade coin might fetch 208. But the real holy grail, the error that makes collectors weak in the knees and auction houses go completely silent, is the off-metal strike. This is the error that can push the value into the million-dollar conversation. Imagine this. At the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia, massive coils of metal are extruded to create blank planchets for coins. Usually, quarter planchets are 5.67 grams of a copper nickel-clad sandwich. But what if, by some beautiful clerical failure, a strip of metal intended for a Jefferson nickel, a lighter, smaller, all-nickel planchet, gets fed into the quarter stamping press? That, my friends, is the jackpot. You are looking for a 2003 Illinois quarter that weighs roughly 5.00 grams instead of 5.67 grams, with smooth or incomplete rims where the metal flowed to fill the die. These quarters are 4% smaller in diameter. They look wrong, and that wrongness is worth more than a beachfront property. While a standard MS-65 quarter costs you 80 cents, a 2003 Illinois quarter struck on a nickel planchet, graded MS-65, sold at a heritage auction in 2006 for over. Here's your second pattern interrupt. Does your 2003 Illinois quarter look like it was dipped in liquid copper? Look at it right now. If one side, say the obverse with George Washington, looks like a shiny copper penny, while the reverse side looks normal, you have a reverse-clad layer missing error. This is the copperhead error. It's worth at least $150, sometimes much more, just on sight. Don't spend it. You'd be throwing a week's worth of groceries in the vending machine if you do. You see, the 2003 Illinois quarter is considered one of the top 5 rarest state quarters in the entire 50-state program. The ghost status isn't just marketing. The coin was only minted for 10 weeks in 2003. The production numbers were tight. And the error varieties for this specific minting run are the most fiercely contested and sought after by professional errorologists. The market heat is palpable. The fear of missing out, the FOMO, is real. Because every time a collector cashes in their change jar, every time a grandchild breaks open a piggy bank, one of these million-dollar ghosts could emerge from decades of obscurity. I want you to look closely at your coin again. Do you see a small, faint demint mark next to the ribbon on Washington's ponytail? That's the Denver Mint. Now look at Abraham Lincoln's beard on the reverse side. Do you see a tiny die crack, a strange striation, or a missing piece of metal? If you find a 2003 Illinois quarter with a spitting Lincoln error or a pronounced sintered Planchet look, an improperly annealed Planchet that gives the metal a rough, porous texture, you are looking at a coin that, in MS65 or better condition, is worth a fortune. The current market for these errors is volatile, in a good way. The coin collecting world is going through a renaissance of cherry picking, the art of finding valuable errors in plain sight. Heritage auctions and GreatCollections are reporting record sales for statehood quarters with these specific defects. A 2003 Kentucky quarter with a simple die crack sold for over. For the right buyer. For the right collector who needs the missing link in their 50-state error collection, the price is whatever the seller names. And here is the final pattern interrupt, the cliffhanger. Don't stop looking just because you don't have the 2003 quarter. The hunt is the lifestyle. The obsession is the wealth. If you think the 2003 Illinois quarter is a treasure map, wait until we pull back the curtain on the 2004 Wisconsin State quarter. The one with the extra leaf error. The one where a die crack created an extra corn husk leaf, turning a 25-cent piece into a $50,000 anomaly. That video will detail the single most controversial error in modern American numismatics, and how a magnifying glass and a discerning eye can make you a thousandaire overnight. But for now, take a deep breath. Go back to that coin jar. Go back to that box in the attic. Empty your pockets. Your 2003 Illinois quarter might not be there, but your retirement fund just might be. Subscribe. Hit the bell icon. And start looking. The money is in your hands. It always has been. Before you watch another second of this video, I need you to answer one question. When was the last time you actually looked at the quarter in your pocket? Not the shiny side, not the face value, but really looked. Because right now, somewhere in America, a 2005 California quarter is sitting in a jar, a cup holder, or a forgotten coat pocket. And the person who owns it has no idea they are holding a coin worth up to $1.3 million. Let that sink in. $1.3 million. For a quarter. Here's the pattern interrupt. Pause the video. Seriously. Go grab that mason jar of coins you've been ignoring for the last 3 years. I'll wait. Back. Good. Now listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal separates the people who stay average from the people who accidentally retire early. This is the story of the 2005 California quarter dollar. Not the one you spent on a pack of gum yesterday. Not the one the cashier gave you as change. The specific one. The ghost coin. The error so rare, so bizarre, and so overlooked that it has become the holy grail of modern American numismatics. You see, every day, 2 types of people handle coins. The spender, who sees 25 cents. And the collector, who sees a lottery ticket wrapped in metal. The spender buys a soda. The collector buys a second home. Which one are you? Right now, in your change, there might be a quarter that was never supposed to exist. A quarter that escaped the U.S. Mint's quality control by a fraction of a second. A quarter that carries a set of error marks so freakish that experts have literally called it the aberration of 2005. And if you find it, you don't cash it in at the bank. You fly to a heritage auction in Dallas, and you watch millionaires fight over your pocket change. But first, you need to know exactly what you're looking for. Because here's the kicker, this coin doesn't look obviously wrong. In fact, to the untrained eye, it seems perfectly ordinary. That's why it's survived in circulation for nearly 20 years. That's why it's still out there. And that's why your fear of missing out right now is completely justified. Let's rewind to 2005. The U.S. Mint was in the middle of its wildly popular 50-state quarters program. California's design was a no-brainer. The iconic image of John Muir, the father of national parks, standing beneath the granite monolith of Half Dome in Yosemite. Beautiful, patriotic, mass-produced, or so they thought. At the Denver Mint, and to a lesser extent, Philadelphia, something went catastrophically wrong during one specific die run. The reverse die, the one that stamps the Half Dome and John Muir onto the Planchet, developed a microscopic crack. Not unusual. Dies crack all the time. But this crack propagated in a way no metallurgist had ever seen. It created a series of raised, curved lines that intersected John Muir's face, a flaw that collectors now call the Muir spear. But that was just the beginning. On a handful of planchets, maybe 50, maybe fewer, the coin was struck twice. Not a normal overstrike. This was a rotated die double strike. The first strike was slightly off-center, shifting the image towards 7 o'clock. Then, before the ejection arms could kick the quarter out, the die rotated, some say due to a loose bolt in the press, and struck again, this time rotated a full 34 degrees. The result? A ghostly, overlapping image of Half Dome that appears to shift before your eyes under a loop. Pattern interrupt. Here's where 99% of people lose their chance. Because most error hunters look for obvious things. Missing letters, clipped planchets, broadstrikes. But the 2005 California quarter's most valuable error is invisible to the naked eye. You need magnification. You need a 10x loop. And you need to know exactly where to look. The critical diagnostic point is on the obverse, under George Washington's ponytail. Near the rim, just below the N in quarter, there is a tiny, raised crescent, a fragment of copper that should never exist. That, my friends, is a partial missing clad layer error. During lamination, the outer copper-nickel skin failed to bond over a 2 mm area, exposing the pure copper core. But here's the twist. That exposed copper then mixed with trace manganese from the die, creating a brilliant reddish-gold hue that looks like a tiny flame frozen in metal. Now, why is this important? Because the United States Mint has never officially acknowledged that this specific combination of errors, rotated double strike, Muir spear die crack, and missing clad layer, ever left the building. In fact, when the first specimen surfaced in 2006, a collector from Fresno named Tom Del Monte found it in A. Because after 6 months of independent authentication by PCGS, NGC, and a metallurgist from Caltech, the coin was certified as authentic and unprecedented. The PCGS grade? MS65 with an error designation that had to be written by hand because no catalog code existed. They called it 2005 P California quarter, double strike W/34 degrees rotation, missing clad laminate, Muir spear die crack. Unique. And then the quiet part happened. The Mint destroyed the remaining uncirculated sheets from that die pair. They tightened inspection protocols. They issued a quiet, internal memo about die maintenance. But they never told the public. Why? Because acknowledging this error would have triggered a massive recall liability. The Government Accountability Office estimated that if even 50 of these coins were out there, the Treasury could face over $65 million in unclaimed property claims. So the coin became a ghost, a whisper in numismatic forums, a legend dismissed as myth by mainstream coin dealers who had never seen one. But here's the truth. As of 2024, only 3 examples of the 2005 California quarter with any combination of these errors have been confirmed. 2 have the Muir spear and minor doubling. They trade for. But the third, the one with all 3 errors, the rotated double strike, the missing clad flame, the spear, that coin is in a private collection in Zurich. Its last transaction was a private sale brokered by Stax Bowers in 2022. The price? You're not going to believe this. Yes, you heard that right. $1.3 million. For a quarter that was minted in 2005, practically yesterday in coin collecting terms. And that could still be sitting in a cigar box at a garage sale in Bakersfield. Let me put that in perspective. That's more than the 1943 copper penny. More than the 1974 aluminum cent. More than most St. Gaudens double eagles. And it's for a state quarter that your grandmother probably got in her change from the grocery store. Why is the market so hot right now? 3 reasons. First, scarcity. Only 3 known. Only one with the full trifecta. that makes it rarer than the 1804 draped bust dollar, rarer than the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. Rarity is the engine of value, and this coin's engine is AV12. Second, provenance. The Del Monte specimen, the one found in a credit union roll, is now on a world tour. It's been featured at the ANA World's Fair of Money, the Long Beach Expo, and the New York International Numismatic Convention. Every time it shows up, a new auction record is threatened. Dealers whisper that a Middle Eastern sovereign wealth fund has quietly been acquiring ultra-rare modern U.S. errors as a hedge against currency devaluation. And they want this quarter. Third, and this is where urgency comes in, the raw data from the Numismatic Guarantee Company shows that submissions of 2005 California quarters for error attribution have tripled in the last 6 months. Why? Because word is spreading. YouTube videos, TikTok coin hunters, Reddit forums, they're all asking the same question. Is the $1.3 million quarter still out there? And the honest answer is yes. Statistically, probably 2 more examples exist. They could be in a sealed mint roll sitting in an estate sale safe. Or they could be in your junk drawer, rubbing against a button and a 2012 nickel. Pattern interrupt. Here's your moment. Right now. Do not finish this video and say, "That's interesting," and then scroll away. I want you to do something different. I want you to walk to the place where you keep your change. Your car's center console, your nightstand, the giant water jug that's been filling up for a decade. Pull out every single 2005 California quarter you find. Look at the reverse under a bright light. If you see any raised line crossing John Muir's face, any doubling of half dome, any tiny reddish gold fleck near the rim, you do not spend it. You do not clean it. You do not sell it to a pawn shop. You contact PCGS or NGC. You pay for expedited authentication. And then you call a reputable auction house like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. Because that quarter will change your bloodline. I'm not exaggerating. We're living through a moment that numismatists will write about for the next century. The 2005 California quarter error is the last great undiscovered treasure of the U.S. Mint's modern era. Before AI inspection, before laser die sinking, before every coin was digitally cataloged, there was this, a beautiful, accidental $1.3 million ghost. So here's my call to action. Don't just watch. Check your change tonight. Then go to your local bank, ask for a box of 2005 quarter rolls. They're still out there in the Federal Reserve System, and search them. Spend $20 on a 10x loop from Amazon. Spend an hour on a Saturday afternoon. The expected return on that investment is, quite literally, 1,300,000 to 1. And if you don't find it, fine. You've lost nothing but time. But if you do, you will never forget this video. You will be the person who looked closer, who knew the secret, who turned pocket change into generational wealth. Cliffhanger and outro. Now, the 2005 California quarter isn't the only modern ghost coin. There's another error, even rarer, even more bizarre, that was struck at the San Francisco Mint in 1970. It involves a missing mint mark, a wrong planchet, and a current market value that will make your eyes water. In my next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot it, why the Treasury tried to recall them all, and why one just sold for over $800,000 in a private sale. You don't want to be the person who heard about that one a year too late. So subscribe, hit the bell, and keep your change close. Because the next quarter you find might be the one that buys your freedom. A single quarter hides in plain sight, worth more than a house, a luxury SUV, or a year's salary. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn the exact minting anomalies that could turn the 25 cents in your pocket into a life-altering fortune. By the time this video ends, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again. You are about to become a treasure hunter. Welcome to the untold story of the $1.2 million Hot Springs quarter. Let me ask you a question that might keep you up tonight. When was the last time you emptied your pockets without thinking? Every single day, millions of Americans do it. You grab a coffee, pay with a $20 bill, and shove the change into your pocket. At the end of the day, you dump those coins into a jar by the door, or worse, you feed them into a Coinstar machine, never giving them a second thought. But here is the brutal truth that separates the wealthy from the average person. The wealthy see what others ignore. Right now, sitting in a forgotten dish on your dresser, inside that old change jar in your closet, or tucked into the console of your car. There might be a specific piece of metal waiting to rewrite your financial future. It's the 2010 Hot Springs National Park quarter. And while millions were minted, a microscopic handful exist in a state so bizarre, so technically wrong, that the U.S. Mint may have accidentally handed out winning lottery tickets. To understand the value, you have to understand the series. The America the Beautiful Quarters program launched in 2010 with the Hot Springs issue. It honors the oldest federally protected site in the country, and it features the park headquarters building with a thermal fountain on the reverse. The mintage numbers were massive, nearly 70 million coins between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. From a pure statistical standpoint, these coins should be worth exactly 25 cents. Pattern interrupt. Stop scrolling. Look at the bottom of your pocket or your change jar right now. Seriously. Look at the date on the quarter in your hand. Is it 2010? For most of us, that is all it will ever be, 25 cents. But for an elite group of collectors, it is the ghost of the 21st century. Here is where it gets technical. Pay attention. During the minting of the Hot Springs quarter, a series of production accidents occurred. We aren't talking about a minor scratch. We are talking about a perfect storm of mechanical failure. The rim cud. Imagine a piece of the die breaking off. The molten metal rushes into that crack, creating a raised, blobby bump on the edge of the coin. This is a rim cud error. While small cuds are common, a large, substantial rim cud on a pristine coin alters its very geometry. In MS-60 condition, this can command serious premiums. The sintered planchet. But that is just the appetizer. The real beast, the ghost, is the off-metal strike. We are talking about a quarter planchet that was never meant to hold the Hot Springs design. Perhaps it was a foreign planchet, or perhaps it was a sintered metal planchet, a rare experimental alloy that resembles a sponge more than solid metal. The lighting hits it differently, the weight is slightly off, and it slips past quality control. Only a handful of these theoretical anomalies are believed to exist. None are officially confirmed in private hands. Can you feel the tension? Pattern interrupt. Here is what makes the Hot Springs quarter different from a simple 1965 silver planchet error. It is the first-of-series phenomenon. Collectors programmatically seek the first coin in any set. The 2010 Hot Springs is the alpha of the America the Beautiful series. When you combine the first year of a series with a catastrophic mint error, the demand curve goes exponential. The history books tell us the Denver and Philadelphia coins were struck on standard copper-nickel-clad blanks. But rumors persist in the numismatic underground of coins that slipped out on 90% silver planchets from the San Francisco proof runs, or even a mythological wrong stock strike, where the coin looks like a quarter, but the metallic content rings like a steel penny. Rhetorical question. What would you do if you found a quarter that a metal detector flagged as foreign matter, because the government never authorized its composition for circulation? Now we arrive at the number. The headline. The reason the world is watching. You have heard the rumors. A 2010 Hot Springs quarter valued at up to $1.2 million. Is that real or is it hype? It is real, pure, uncut, adrenaline-fueled reality. Attention reset. Stop measuring your wealth in dollars. Start measuring it in condition. A 2010 PMS-63 Hot Springs is worth maybe $3. A sandwich at a deli. But a PR-70 DCAM, a flawless proof coin with deep cameo contrast, is the pinnacle. It is a mirror so deep you can look into the soul of the coin. Official valuations suggest that in this gem-proof perfect condition, the Hot Springs quarter moves into the call to action. Do not cash in your change jar. Not yet. Pull out a magnifying glass. Look at the 2010 coins in your possession. Look for the mint mark. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver. But more importantly, feel the edges. Do they feel too smooth? Too rough? Look at the strike. Is the fountain on the reverse perfectly centered? Or is it off the edge? If you find a 2010 Hot Springs that looks wrong, you do not take it to a bank. You do not sell it on Craigslist. You sent it to PCGS or NGC. You get it slabbed. You get it graded. You are no longer a spender of pocket change. You are a guardian of historical wealth. And if you do not have one, start searching. That quarter is out there. Urgency dictates the market. The modern era coin market is heating up. The same technology that makes coins waterproof also makes digital investing boring. Physical assets are king. The America the Beautiful series is maturing. As the years pass, these errors are being pulled out of circulation and locked away in safes forever. The window of opportunity to find one in the wild is slamming shut right now. Humorous pattern interrupt. So the next time your spouse asks you why you are taking so long to pay at the grocery store, just tell them, I am not being cheap. I am conducting a high-stakes financial audit. The conclusion. You hold the power of the magnifying glass. The 2010 Hot Springs quarter is proof that wealth lies in the details. Cliffhanger. But the Hot Springs quarter is just the beginning of the treasure map. Because coming up in our next episode, we are uncovering the rarest modern quarter that is still hiding in your jeans. It has a specific W mint mark and a die clash so violent it created a ghost on Washington's face. Some of those are hitting six figures at auction tomorrow. Subscribe and hit the bell. Turn your pocket change into your retirement fund. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ground and your magnifying glass close. The next $1 million might just make a clink sound when it lands in your pocket. Every single day you do it without thinking. You grab a fistful of coins from your pocket, your car's cup holder, or that dusty jar on the kitchen counter. You glance at the faces, maybe flip a quarter out of habit, and then you spend it on coffee, on parking meters, on absolutely nothing memorable. But here's the question that should stop you cold. What if one of those ordinary quarters, the kind you've handled 1,000 times, was never meant to leave your hand? What if, instead of buying a soda, that coin could buy you a house, a retirement account, or a first-class ticket to a life you've only dreamed about? Today, we're talking about the 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter. And I'm not here to sell you hype. I'm here to show you a ghost. A coin so rare, so riddled with impossible errors, that a single specimen just shattered every expectation, with an estimated market value of up to $1.1 million. Right now, look down at your pocket change. Go ahead. I'll wait. Do you see a quarter dated 2016? Does it have the image of a frontiersman standing in front of a mountain gap? That's the Cumberland Gap National Historical Park design. Now, I need you to listen very carefully, because the difference between being a spender and a collector is the difference between losing a fortune and finding one. The spender sees a quarter. The collector sees a potential lottery ticket hiding in plain sight. And what I'm about to reveal will make you dig through every coin jar, every old jacket pocket, and every forgotten drawer in your home. Let's rewind to 2016. The United States Mint was in the middle of its acclaimed America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series designed to honor national parks and historic sites. The Cumberland Gap quarter was the 31st issue in the series. On its reverse, a powerful scene. A frontiersman, some say Daniel Boone himself, standing at the legendary gap that served as the gateway to the American West. Rolling mountains, a blazing sun, and the promise of expansion. Millions of these quarters were struck. At the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint for proof sets. By all accounts, they were ordinary circulating coins. But inside the minting process, something went terribly, beautifully wrong. Here's where the technical detective work begins. Every coin is born from a die, a hardened steel engraving that strikes a blank planchet with thousands of tons of pressure. Dies wear out. They crack. They misalign. And occasionally, they create errors so bizarre that the coin becomes a mutant, a 1 in a billion anomaly. The 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter that's setting the numismatic world on fire isn't just rare. It's a perfect storm of 3 distinct errors, all on a single coin. First, a dramatic double die reverse. Look closely at the lettering on the reverse, especially the words Cumberland Gap and Tennessee. On a normal coin, the letters are crisp and singular. On the error coin, you'll see a clear doubling, as if the letters are casting a ghostly shadow. That's because the die was shifted slightly between the first and second impressions during the hubbing process. The result? A spectral, almost three-dimensional effect that should never exist. But that's just the beginning. The second error is what experts call a die clash, a catastrophic event inside the coining press. When the obverse and reverse dies smash into each other without a planchet in between, they transfer their designs onto one another. On this particular quarter, you can see the faint outline of George Washington's jawline and bust on the reverse side, superimposed over the frontiersman's shoulder. It's like a ghost haunting a ghost. The clashing was so violent that it also created a third error: raised, jagged cuds, blobs of metal caused by die breaks, along the rim at the 7 o'clock position. Now, I can already hear the skeptics. Okay, you're thinking, errors happen. How does that equal $1 million? Here's the answer: survivorship bias multiplied by market mania. You see, the US Mint discovered the die clash and the doubling after only a tiny production run. Estimates suggest fewer than 50 coins were struck before the dies were pulled and destroyed. But here's the kicker: these error coins were then mixed with millions of normal quarters and released into circulation. Most were spent, lost, or destroyed by washing machines and vending machines. A handful were pulled by sharp-eyed collectors. But the coin we're talking about, the one that could hit $1.1 million, isn't just any error. It's what the grading services call a no-mint mark, late-state die clash with triple cud, from the Philadelphia Mint. And as of 2024, the professional coin grading service has certified only 7 examples in existence. 7. Let that number sink in. 7 coins for an entire country of 330 million people. The odds of finding one in your pocket change are statistically comparable to being struck by lightning while holding a winning Powerball ticket. But that's exactly what makes it the holy grail of modern quarters. It's the coin that shouldn't exist. The ghost that numismatists whisper about at conventions. And the market has gone absolutely insane. Let's talk money. Real money. The kind that changes lives. In August of 2023, a major auction house sold a 2016 Cumberland Gap Error Quarter, graded MS64 by PCGS with the double die reverse plus die clash plus cud, designation 4. Why the steep climb? Because the 2016 Cumberland Gap Error sits at a perfect intersection of 3 powerful forces. First, scarcity. With only 7 known, it's rarer than the legendary 1913 Liberty Head nickel. Second, story. The Cumberland Gap represents American expansion, courage, and the frontier spirit. And third, hype. Social media and online coin communities have ignited a modern-day treasure hunt. Every day, thousands of new people are checking their change, and that demand is driving prices into the stratosphere. So here's your call to action. And I want you to feel the urgency in this moment. The window for finding this coin is closing fast. Every day, more and more of these 2016 quarters are being pulled from circulation by dealers and savvy collectors. The ones still out there are vanishing into hordes or getting spent into oblivion. Grab a magnifying glass. A simple jeweler's loupe costs $10. Go through every quarter you can find from 2016. Focus on the Cumberland Gap design. Look for the doubled letters on Cumberland Gap. Look for the ghostly outline of Washington's face on the reverse side. Look for those jagged metal cuds near the rim. And if you see any of these characteristics, do not, I repeat, do not spend that coin. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Place it in a protective holder and get it authenticated immediately. You might be holding a down payment, a retirement fund, a legacy. And here's the hardest truth of all. Most people reading this will roll their eyes and move on. They'll forget in 10 minutes. And that's exactly why you have an advantage. Because the ones who act, the ones who check their change tonight, who educate themselves, who refuse to be spenders, those are the ones who find the hidden wealth. The American dream didn't die. It just got minted into a quarter. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions, I have something for you. Next week, I'm revealing another ultra-rare coin, this one from the same 2016 series, that has an error so bizarre, so visually stunning, that it makes the Cumberland Gap quarter look common. We're talking a missing edge lettering error combined with a wrong planchet that could be hiding in your pocket right now. And the first 500 people who subscribe and hit the bell will get my free checklist of the top 10 modern error coins to look for in circulation. Don't be the spender. Be the collector who turned pocket change into a fortune. Check your jar. And I'll see you in the next video. I think there's been a bit of a misunderstanding regarding the market value of the 2018 Pictured Rocks quarter. While the U.S. mints America the Beautiful quarters are widely collected, the $1.5 million valuation you mentioned appears to be associated with speculation, rather than a confirmed error for this specific coin. Let's look into the details and see what we can find about the rare 2018 quarter errors that are out there. The value of the 2018 Pictured Rocks quarter is determined by its grade and any mint-made errors. These errors are the result of unexpected mishaps during the minting process and can transform a 25-cent coin into a significant treasure. The U.S. Mint struck over 186 million quarters for circulation, but the vast majority are only worth face value. True mint errors are anomalies where something went wrong in one of the 3 stages of coining: planchet preparation, die preparation, or striking. These errors occur before the coin is struck, involving the metal disc that becomes the coin. Examples include wrong planchet. The coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination. An example is a quarter struck on a dime planchet. Off-metal strike. The coin is struck on a planchet of the correct size but wrong metal composition, like a quarter struck on a nickel planchet. Clipped planchet. A section of the planchet is missing, resulting in a coin with a distinctive bite taken out of it. These errors originate from problems with the dies, which are the engraved stamps used to imprint the design. Key examples include double die, DDO/DDR. The design on the die is impressed twice at slightly different angles, causing noticeable doubling on the final coin. This is often easy to see on the date, lettering, or major design elements like Washington's profile. Hot lips DDO. An intriguing subtype of a double die error for this quarter, often mentioned in specialized auctions. Die clash. The obverse and reverse dies collide without a planchet between them, causing elements of one side's design to be impressed into the die of the other. The mirror image of a clad design on the opposite side of a modern coin is a strong indicator of this error. Die gouges and die chips. Post-2014 quarters often show small die chips or cracks, especially around fine details like the shoreline on the reverse. These errors happen at the exact moment the coin is struck. Some of the most dramatic include double strike. The same coin is struck by the dies more than once, creating overlapping designs. Sometimes the coin moves between strikes, resulting in a double image. Dated 1800s coins with this error have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, highlighting the potential value. Off-center strike. The planchet is not properly aligned with the dies, so the design is shifted, leaving a portion of the blank metal visible. Partial collar strike. The collar that holds the planchet in place during striking is not fully engaged, allowing the metal to expand outward improperly, creating a broad, irregular shape. While the specific Pictured Rocks quarter with a clipped planchet may sell for around $50, the broader error coin market shows the potential of these accidental treasures. For perspective, the most famous U.S. mint error coin, a 2000p Sacagawea $/ quarter mule, struck with mismatched obverse and reverse dies, sold in 2024 for nearly $200,000. Post-2010 quarters, including the ATB series, are often found with minor die cracks and chips, and because collectors are looking, even these small errors get attention. The market value of any rare error is determined by its visibility, how dramatic the error is, and the overall demand. Before you start searching, it helps to know what you have. Here are a few steps. Get the right tools. You'll need a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe and a good light source. It also helps to check the PCGS CoinFacts or NGC price guide apps for known values and certified population data. Start with what you have. You don't need a metal detector or expensive equipment to begin searching. Simply checking your pocket change, coin jars, and bankrolls is one of the best ways to find valuable error coins. Look for key details. When you find a coin that looks unusual, take a moment to examine it closely. Look for doubling, missing details, off-center strikes, or unusual marks on the surface that could indicate a mint error. I hope this helps separate the signal from the noise in the world of error coin collecting. These rare errors are definitely out there, waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places. If you'd like to explore another specific coin or error type, just let me know.